So Thor Love and Thunder came out and it was yeah, I really liked Ragnarok, but this one just takes all of Ragnarok's comedy way too far. At least Ragnarok knew when to not tell a joke and when to actually focus on a story. This one feels like an overly long SNL skit, as people said, and they're right.
Are you thinking what I think?
You know, usually in Marvel films, there'll be an emotional moment undercut with a joke one time and then the next one isn't. But in this one, every single scene is cut with a joke. Like, it doesn't matter. And it sucks because the movie actually has some thematically strong elements, but they're not given enough time because the movie would rather tell jokes. You know, the themes of serving a god and whatnot aren't exactly explored because the movie is too focused on telling jokes. Well, are the jokes at least funny? No, they aren't funny. Like, literally, there's this one joke that's literally just about screaming goats, and the whole joke is that they scream, and that's it. Like, this is like illumination levels of obnoxiousness. I don't understand why they thought any of this was a good idea. Oh yeah, also Korg is overused as a joke in this one. No, I don't care that he's gay, that's not relevant. Everyone else thinks it is though, but you know, chill out, it's just a fictional movie character. But yeah, Korg is way overused in this one. I feel like in the last one, he was funny because he was used sparsely. Same thing with Endgame, he was used in like one scene. But in this movie, he's in every scene. And it's not funny. Oh yeah, and the visuals in this movie are absolutely awful. They're so oversaturated and it gave me a headache. I don't know, when we'd say we want more colorful looking Marvel movies, I don't mean like oversaturated, overprocessed garbage. And the characters in these movies are kind of a mixed bag. Now, you have Jane Foster coming back, of course, which doesn't really bother me that much. Like, who really cares? She's incredibly inconsistent from the time we actually meet her as Thor to the time where she meets up with Thor. What I mean is, when she first donned on the costume and powers, she's confident and whatnot. And then, afterwards, she's just the awkward MCU buddy. And it gets worse because every character is telling jokes and the jokes are non-stop and it's annoying. You know, even an animated movie like Luca knew when to take itself seriously and when to be funny. I've seen defenses for this movie like, it's a comedy, so you shouldn't criticize it because it's a comedy. Well, the thing is, sir, ma'am, whatever, when you're making a comedy, the objective is to make it funny. You can't exactly use the embrace the insanity argument when the insanity isn't even well done. And the thing that sucks most about these jokes is that Chris Hemsworth seems to be having a really good time here, but like, the script isn't good, so then the jokes are unfunny and cringy. Then the movie also attempts to be some philosophical take on, do we need gods or not? But then that's undercut by the fact that there's always jokes and it's not given enough time. Speaking of the character that concocts this entire belief, I actually like Gore in this movie. But unfortunately, what keeps me from not liking him as much is the fact that he basically gets little screen time. Even though you can tell that Christian Bale is acting his heart out here, it kinda sucks because I actually liked this character. I mean, I like Thor too, because clearly Chris Hemsworth is trying, but even then, it still doesn't work compared to Gore. Gore works as a character and as a villain for this movie because of his beliefs. I like the fact that the first scene of the movie is literally just him and his backstory instead of just some shoehorned in backstory like a shitty anime villain or something. I don't understand why they had to go with the comedy approach while also trying to be something philosophical. It really makes no sense. It sucks because the humor in Ragnarok was already kind of skirting the line of close to obnoxious, but I don't think they really needed to double down on the comedy here, because in reality it just takes away from the themes of this movie, which is all about love and whatnot. Yeah, it's kind of simplistic, but I mean, it's a lot better than all the jokes we have here. Screaming goats are not funny, okay? Characters explaining what their lines mean, it's not funny. Characters repeating each other is not funny. That's basically the main three jokes of this movie. Being awkward can be funny sometimes, if well executed, and also consistent with its fucking characters. I just don't understand this movie at all. Not because it's that hard to follow, it's just that I don't understand how we can go from a pretty good movie like Ragnarok to a movie that's just an attempt, I guess. So the end score for this one is really confusing. I'll give it like a 5 out of 10. There are a few bits of action that I like. There's the emotional moments that kind of work in a vacuum, even if not executed properly when you consider the rest of this movie being basically just jokes. And I think there was like probably one joke that worked, but I don't remember it that much. Overall, this movie is kind of like how Thor the Dark World was to the first movie, where the first movie was pseudo-Shakespearean and tried its best to be formal, and then the sequel took that way too far, plus his fucking friends. Love and Thunder feels like taking the direction of Ragnarok way too far. And I mean, there's not really the proper characters to bounce off of, like the Grandmaster or Hulk. I mean, yeah, you have Valkyrie, but she's barely in the fucking movie. And yeah, that's it. Overall, this movie is mediocre. I wish it was better. It was a complete disappointment. A bad Taika Waititi movie is very, very odd, considering that movies like Jojo Rabbit are still really fucking good. So yeah, 5 out of 10, good fucking bye.